So hello and welcome to Listen Up, the NSO pre-show talk. I'm Dale Jarvis and we're right back into things with Marc David. Marc, good evening. Welcome back.
Thank you, Dale. Good evening, and good evening to all our digital concert goers.
So we're in for a bit of a treat with concerts back at the Arts and Culture Center. What have you been doing to prepare for the new season, and how do you think this will be different from the rest?
Well, we've been waiting for this moment for quite some time now, and we're finally being back on stage as a full orchestra. And as we prepare to return to our regular format, our primary concern remained providing a safe work environment for all. So we followed the government guidelines, protocols in place at the Arts and Culture Center, and we even put together our own handbook to assure the safety of all our musicians. And now, with the lifting of the travel ban, we are able to reach out to guest artists from outside the province. And as planned, wonderful cellist Stéphane Tétreault will be joining us on stage this evening. We're really delighted about this. And now also in terms of preparation, after going for a year and a half without performing together as a full orchestra, you can imagine we've had to regain certain skills in terms of playing as a large ensemble. I'm thinking of sound balance considerations, hearing mechanisms, sight lines, having the strings remember what it's like to play two per stand, and other technical issues relating to our work on stage. So there's definitely been a relearning process, but the orchestra's curve in this regard is definitely exponential. And also looking at programming, this season is a little different than previous years, as we've worked towards striking a good balance between catching up on repertoire and guest artists canceled during the pandemic, and keeping intact certain plans that were set before the outbreak. So all in all, I feel that we've come up with a very exciting season.
I know it's been a tremendous amount of work for you and the NSO to pivot to online concerts and now back primarily to live shows again. How has the last year been for all of you?
Well, I think it's been quite the challenge for everyone here. There were so many new elements and situations we had to adjust to. First of all, purchasing equipment and setting ourselves up for video and audio recording of a level suitable for online concerts. And in this regard, I must say kudos to our two Steves, Steve Power, our wonderful, for his wonderful camera work, and Steve Lilly on audio. We also had to learn to rehearse and perform in smaller groups, not all being together, being distanced on stage, playing 6 feet apart from each other, wearing masks, and having less rehearsal time because of the maximum time we could spend in a room, taking into consideration air exchange rates. What else? Not having access to our regular rehearsal space in the music school at MUN. And I'd say also, and most significantly, playing without the energy we feel from a live audience during the concerts. So therefore, we're just so happy that most of these obstacles are now behind us.
Well, if you've made it through this past year, there's nothing going to hold you back. I think you've accomplished so much in the last year, and we're all delighted to be back at live performance. So thank you, Marc, and we look forward to this season.
Thank you, Dale, and we are delighted to be back in this regular format.
Our next guest is Stéphane Tétreault. It's great to see you back as a soloist with the Newfoundland Symphony Orchestra. And we're looking forward to hearing you perform the Elgar Cello Concerto. Can you tell us a little bit about the piece and your experiences with it?
Absolutely. Well, I'm thrilled to be back, for one, and it's a very touching work. It's a very impressive work for the soloist and for the orchestra. I would even say that it's more of a chamber music work than a concerto, because both are equally important. It's a concerto that was written in 1919. In the aftermath of World War I. Elgar was very affected by the tragedy of World War I, and we can hear a lot of his depression, his sadness, and all of his, his thoughts about the war are all evoked in the concerto. And so that's very powerful in itself. And Elgar himself was going through a very tough time in his life. And he eventually proclaimed that the Cello Concerto was probably his favorite work that he ever composed. So I think you can just tell that by the melody, by the opening chords and the cello. It's just it's a very moving work, and personally, it's very touching for me to be on stage and to perform it.
The world is starting to open up again now to traveling. How has the pandemic affected your work as a musician and performer?
I mean, the pandemic has affected a lot of what I've been doing. At first, obviously, there was no work. So, I mean, we were just trying to figure out cancellations and rebooking of concerts. And so that was, pretty strategic in itself. And then we thought it would only last for a month. And so we rebooked the concert, and then obviously it lasted more than a month. So we would have to keep doing that. So to be honest with you, I've spent the first 2 months dealing with that and playing video games. I bought myself an Xbox just to decompress and to think about something else, something a little bit less depressing. After a few months, I had the chance to do a few online events to record things, and during the summer of 2020 as well. And then luckily enough, things have really picked up as of about fall 2020 for me. So I had obviously very few in-person concerts, but a lot of online events, and so that was great. And to be able to record, and I mean, there's obviously something special missing when you're playing in front of a camera and you're not playing for an audience. However, it's taught us to be adaptable in what we do, and to be imaginative and creative, and so that's a positive thing. But other than that, I'm really, really happy to be doing in-person concerts again, and to be in St. John's, for example, is just amazing, and to have that contact not only with the audience, of course, but with musicians on stage, and to be able to create something together is really special. So I'm hoping that will never go away again.
Oh, so what's next for you? What's now that things are opening up, what do you have on your plate?
I'm fairly busy, so I'm going to be recording 2 CDs in the coming months. One with Valérie Milot, a harpist, so it's a harp and cello CD, and another one with a colleague pianist, Olivier Hébert-Bouchard, which is a CD focused on the work of Claude Debussy. So I'm very excited for that. I'm doing quite a bit of concerts in the next few months as well. And then after all of that, I don't really have any time off till the Christmas holidays. So it'll be pretty busy, but I'm excited and feeling very fortunate to be working again.
Well, thank you. It's been great to chat with you, and we'll look forward to those recordings coming out.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
See you soon, I hope.
Take care.
Bye, you too.